where do you think the FBI stands today? Okay, Trump's in office. A lot of reforms are happening around the country. Is the FBI reformable, and in what ways? I mean, just kind of what's your opinion on all of that?
Yeah, my opinion on the FBI is I don't think it's actually salvageable. And I don't think it's the end of the world for the United States of America if there's a sunset date for the FBI within the next 6 months.
But doesn't there have to be some kind of federal investigative body of, because
Right.
you got U.S. attorneys who are doing prosecution of federal crimes. Don't you have to have some kind of law enforcement muscle behind that?
Right. You just farm that out. If they salvage the place at all, which I wouldn't advise, but if they did, it just needs to be a straight criminal investigative agency. They need to get out of the predictive,
intelligence.
Right. They need to get out
it's
of the
like
intelligence
it seems to me like
completely.
when the FBI became more like the CIA, it got all screwed up.
Right.
I mean, is that like the simple second grade version of all this? Is like when the FBI started acting like the CIA, it got all messed up.
Right. And I think around 9/11, there was the debate, kind of like with the Brits, MI5, MI6. And I think the Bureau fought tooth and nail to not have a separate domestic, intel organization created. The argument was that they could do both, which I would say they can't. And I would just say, from what I've observed of the culture, I don't think it needs to exist. What capabilities they have need to be farmed out to another organization to get the job done. I've worked on task forces with local and state investigators who are fantastic, and I think that can get the job done. If we need to do something federally to support local and state agencies or another federal agency to absorb some of that criminal investigative mission, then I think that would be a good outcome for the people. But I think we need to move away from the FBI.
But how do you farm out to individual state authority? Because you have to cross state lines and have the license to do that.
Right. I mean, they have the DHS, HSI. I mean, they have to have some reforms there too. I just don't think they don't have as much of the credibility taint as the FBI does right now. Obviously, there's some taint on there because we don't know the exact federal footprint that was there that day, January 6, 2021. But obviously, the organization that was kind of used as the vanguard, in the quote unquote weaponization of the government against the American people, it was the FBI. So there's a serious credibility issue with the FBI that I don't think that they can recover from, even if they try to do a salvage job, which is what they're attempting right now.
Right.
I think it's a fool's errand, and I think it's fool's gold for the American people. I think for the American people, they need to demand those capabilities get farmed out somewhere else.
Well, it's one thing for Trump to discontinue the Department of Education. He ain't ever going to disband the FBI, man. You know that ain't going to happen.
I don't know. We'll see.
If he did,
we'll see.
I mean, I could see him making a case to the American public of saying the FBI's core purpose is to investigate federal crimes, and because it's gotten into the intelligence business, it's screwed that up.
Right.
So we need to get rid of that, let the CIA do that, which that CIA is a whole nother conversation. They've been corrupt since day one. But in my uneducated, ill-formed, silly opinion, but that's a whole nother thing.
Right.
But I could see him saying, get rid of that intelligence and let them work with U.S. attorneys on prosecuting cases, and catch the bad guys. They just investigate federal crimes, period.
Right.
Get out of everything else. And I could see him doing that. But disbanding the FBI, shoot, I wouldn't bet $1 on that.
Yeah.
But
we'll see.
I don't have any.
We'll see.
I have no reason to say that other than just like a normal guy.
I don't think it's salvageable, but I mean, the recommendations I've made, for people who have been willing to listen in DC has been, if anything is maintained of the place, it needs to just be straight criminal investigative.
Yeah.
The national security side needs to completely go away.
Right.
That needs to be done.
Right.
They don't do that well from my, former driver's seat position, especially coming from the Marine Corps and a couple of other different places I worked. I don't think they do that very well. A lot of the intel people there would probably say the same thing because they all thought the training at Quantico was a joke.
Yeah.
So I think they can sunset that.
It's like anything.
Very easily.
Once any entity goes beyond the scope of their original intent, they usually start to screw up.
Right.
That's just human nature, right?
Right.
Hey, thanks guys for checking out the Conor Gallagher Show. Please take a moment to like, subscribe, or comment, or whatever you got to do to support it. And I appreciate that very much.